Hey guys, got a lovely episode today, guys. These things, Amazon, iTunes. We've got this one called One for All. Be careful about these things. Be careful, okay? That's my point. A lot of people love it. We're getting to festive season now, so a lot of people are gonna want to have this or buy it for people they love. Be careful, okay? So let's talk about this, right? So again, think about this perfect scenario. Okay, your grandma or your mom loves you so much, seeing you. You've been traveling abroad, wherever you were coming home for the holidays or it's your birthday. And what they do then is they offer what they think is what you would like. But they're not really sure. Okay, so what they do is they go ahead and they buy a gift card at Amazon. Okay, for you, or buy a gift card at Target. Let's say you're in the US, they buy a gift card at Target. Here's the point: the Target gift card will not work anywhere else apart from Target. So is that really a gift? Even better, then you go back to Mexico or to Canada where you live. That's not going to work. So it can only work when you come back to where you live. Again, I showed a gift card at the start, right? So this is one for all. See its denominator. It tells you the denomination, which is in pounds sterling. That means this can only work in the UK. Same store, same brand. If you showed up to one for all in the US, which I know they've got this in the US or in Canada, guess what? It's not going to work. I want to talk about that, okay? And be very careful with this, okay? So I've got some stats here, which is 43% of us, 43%, okay, have at least one unused gift card. So that means people love you and give you these cards, but because of the sheer inconvenience, because it's lost, because it's stolen, or the inconvenience of redeeming it, just has gone. And where does it go? Hopefully, we can talk about it here. Should you do more about that? Should you be careful? Should you stop buying these things? Let's talk about that here. And hopefully, again, I don't want to have to talk about this, okay, and push people towards us, okay, or towards MasterCard or Visa, but let's talk about this. So there are two types, okay. So what are these things? So, if you look at this is an iTunes video, okay. So what are these things? So an iTunes gift card. So what are they? I'll talk about that now, okay? But before that, I think I should talk about myself, obviously, so I'm not a YouTuber, in case you can't tell. I'm not an expert in these things. I've just finished work. So I'm a fintech CEO for Oruka. So Oruka is a smart payment ring where you can tap to make payments. And that's it. So we've launched payment rings globally. If you're yeah, any part of the world actually, but if you're linked with Amazon, with MasterCard, or with Visa, then we work with you. If you're linked or if you've got a bank with at least 200 banks right now as we speak, and we're talking to a few more banks, then we link with you. That means your ring connects and you can automatically top up if you want to, or you can connect directly to your bank or your credit card, which is very important. And it helps you then because you don't need to walk around with your wallet or your phones again. Okay. So please, if you haven't ordered it, order one now. It's called ruka.com. And I'm the CEO, so I work on this 247. You can always catch me here. If I don't respond to your query or my customers or my team doesn't, just come down to this comment and put a comment. I will come back. Okay, but we always do. And I kid you not on that, right? So we're very serious in our customer service, and that's why I'm here. Okay, I could be on an investor call. I could be begging for money with the VCs or the PE firms, but we've put our money where our mouth is, and we focus on our customers. So I really want to talk about this, right? Because again, so the question is, what are these things? Okay, so what we have, our rings, MasterCard, Visa are called open loop. So the open loop means that they can work with every basically payment system. So most payment systems would work as long as you tap your card. So if you have your card that's called Visa or MasterCard or this ring, you can tap wherever you are and it works. Not a problem. On the other hand, if you've got an Amex ring or an Amex Mastercard, I think Amex also have this bracelet. So we have this bracelet as well where you can tap to make payments. Really cool. And I'm excited about that, obviously. But Amex also have that. So Amex can also allow you actually tap to make payments. They can allow you use your Amex card, credit card or debit card or charge card. You can tap those to make payments. That's cool. But here's the point: you can only work within Amex. So that's what's called a closed loop. That's the same thing with these cards. So your gift cards are closed loop. What that means, it only works within the store. Okay. If you think about it, that means if you go to an iTunes store, and you want to pay with our cards or our rings, it works because it's open loop. However, if you showed up to iTunes store and you wanted to spend your Amazon gift card, it's not going to work because they'll look at you and go, wait, no, we don't recognize that. It's a closed loop for iTunes. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, you need to understand what's called a closed loop and an open loop. So these gift cards are set up as a closed loop because it only works within the card, the voucher, which is the piece of paper they gave you, and your money. When your money goes in, it goes into this closed loop and it doesn't work outside that loop. Okay, that's important to know because if for some reason these people, I'm going to pick one, this is called one for all. If one for all go bankrupt, this is gone, it's worthless. It's a piece of paper. That's scary. So if you give someone $1,000 and one for all close down tomorrow, it's gone. There's no recourse, there's no FDIC, there's no insurance wherever you are because it's a closed loop system within that system and is worthless outside that. I mean, you're not going to take your one for all card and go to Starbucks and Starbucks honor it, okay? Unless they're listed there within that closed loop system. Okay, so that brings me to the important thing, which is, hey, why do these things happen? Where they came from? Of course, I'll start here, so I'm not making these things up. This started from a guy called Neiman Marcus in 1994. Not a whole lot is known about him, at least in the banking circles. Maybe a few bankers could correct me on that one, but at least on my side, I didn't know him per se. But I think the most the popular people who brought this up was Blockbuster. So Blockbuster used to have like a voucher system or a card where you could go in and get a voucher and then you can make that up. So that used to be in 1996. You could go in, you could withdraw, you could use the funds from Blockbuster and you could actually spend that. So it became a closed loop, which is really cool because it gave them revenue. They could tell when money was coming in and they could spend that. So that was very interesting because that came up and then every other person picked that up. Okay. And right now we're looking at stats here as well. So that's currently, as of this time, is growing at double digits. So that means people are just buying these things like crazy. As of this year, we're looking at 1.1 trillion in terms of gift cards that are just given away, to other people, which is really cool. Again, I have no issue with this, okay? But people buying these things need to understand what they're buying, okay? And that's key because, like so here's the point. When you pay for something, imagine if I came to you and I said, hey, you're a store owner, okay? And I came to you and said, hey, I want to give you $100, okay, for my friend. Here's the $100, give me a piece of paper, which is money. Here's a piece of paper. Here's $100, and I give you cash. You give me a piece of paper. That piece of paper could be worthless if you go down. But I'm going to take the piece of paper and I'll give it to my friend. I say, hey, here you go. You can go into that store and spend $100 because that's what it is. £100. That's what it is. So it's a piece of paper that I've collected from you I gave you pure cash for, and I've given to someone I love to go spend. Which again, if you look at the point of view of what I'm doing, I think is a cool thing to do. It's good, you're selfless, you're helpful, and you're giving someone you love to go in and spend money at a store that you think they love. Here's the point I have, here's the issue I have. Okay. And that's with the person who collected that money. That person who collected $100 has nothing other than when the piece of paper comes back, they spend it. But before now and when that person comes back, they're going to invest that money. They're going to make money. You could have put that money in your pocket and made money on it. You could have put that money in the stock market. You could have left that money in your bank account and say, hey, I'm going to give you $100 when you go into that store next time. And you're going to make money off it. But what we do is we take that piece of paper and we give it to that person and say, hey, here you go. I thought about you and I've given Starbucks, I've given Amazon money to keep for you. That's a big scam. Okay, without an insult, that's a big scam possible because what's happening, those guys have taken that money, they don't spend that money, but they actually invest that money and make money on you because it's your loss. It's come from your pocket there. Let's talk about stats about what's the likelihood, okay? So the likelihood then, I think I've talked about this on other videos, is between 10 to 20% of that person that you give that money to will not spend that money. Either because they lost the money or because they put the card somewhere. I mean, I threw away a couple of cards down here, okay? There's a highly likelihood I'm going to lose the cards, and there's at least some money on that, okay? So here's the point. 10 to 20% of the cards that we buy and we give to people are lost, gone. What happens with the lost card? It's free money. It's free money to the big boys. The free money, again, if you go to your store and go towards the front of any Target store, any iTunes store, any big stores, Tesco's, wherever, no matter where you are, everywhere you are in the world, they have these gift cards, and these gift cards are always at the front of the queue. That means before you go, you feel you have to buy these things, and you buy it. So that's free money to these people. Okay, so here's the point. Please, 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 if you learn nothing from here, go look for any gift cards you have and spend them. Okay, spend them exactly what you got, no more. Here's the point, because I'm going to talk about this. So there are three concepts to know, right? The first one is basically the float. What we call the float in banking, okay, is basically money that's coming in that's not being used, and then we know it most likely will not be used, so you invest that money for a while. Banks do that today, and that's how they call what they call printing money. It's not really printing money. What they do is they actually invest that money, and then they make more returns of it. Okay, but if you go to them tomorrow and you request that money, they have to give you that money, and that's where banks go down. Okay, otherwise banks will never go down if they could print money. So and that's an inside information that you need to know. Okay, people, a lot of gurus always say, "Hey, banks print free money." No, they don't. They have a fractional reserve system where they actually take a part of the money and then they can borrow more. But here's the point: when they borrow more, they can't just borrow money out of thin air. You have to go to them to borrow money. So that's you printing the money, not them. You're going to them to demand the money. Okay, I don't want to digress. I'm going to have a whole video on this one. Okay, please, guys, watch out for this. But the point I'm trying to make there is the fact that we're the ones actually giving Starbucks, Amazon, all this cash to hold on our behalf. And when they hold this money on your behalf, what they're doing is effectively investing that money, and that money is called a free float. Okay. Here's the other point. If for some reason you don't come back and you redeem that money, or you don't come back and spend that money when the expiry date is up, it's a breakage. That's money for them. Again, free money. So if they had returns on the $1,000, right now at the end of the breakage period, they have what's called the breakage, which is basically free money. It's gone into their pocket. Free profit for doing nothing. Here's how much the Starbucks got last year. Pick on them because these guys are big boys. They don't need this money, okay? But they made 1.4 billion from the US alone of just money, just not spent, just lost gift cards that's expired. It's free money because if you again think about it from these people, these greedy corporations, like think about it from them. They've got enough money, and then the money they can make more money if they sell these gift cards, and these gift cards then go ahead, and then they can go ahead and you hope you lose it, and if you lose it, that's free money to them. So please, guys, be careful. Go look for every cash you have and spend exactly what you have in there. No more, no less. Make sure it's not lost. Okay. And I've talked a lot about breakage. Okay. So here's the point. What does the law provide to you, right? I've got this as well. I had to read this because again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a banker, but I do know from the U.S. Right. So U.S. You guys have what's called a Card Act 20. Effectively, what that means is there's no expiry for at least 5 years. Yeah, that's easier said than done. We know that the cars go missing. 10% of cars go missing every year. Okay, so it's not really about the expiry date, but it's about the cars that go missing that people just can't find, or they move house, or they move countries. So that's a problem. Okay. Here's the other point as well. Within every other state, so in the UK or any other state, it's not really clear. So it's really like, oh, it has to be a reasonable period. But here's the point. What's a reasonable period? Yeah. Again, we try to avoid the law as much as possible, especially for small amounts. I mean, if you're going to go to court for £100 or $100, unless you have like a class action where you have a lot of people coming together to redeem this cash, it's really, really low, and that's what they rely on. So please be careful. Don't even get into that state to start with over a gift. Be careful with the gifts. Make sure you give the right gift to the right people, to the right store. Okay, and again, I'm going to repeat this again. I really, really love small stores. If you have a small store, and then you really want someone to use it, you can give a gift card or a gift cert. It used to be a gift cert, but you write a piece of paper, whatever it is, and the person goes ahead and spends the money. That is more important to that person. That means a lot more to the store owner than these big dogs or big boys that don't actually need the money, but everyone just gives them billions for free. Okay, so please, guys, be careful. I'm going to just round up with a few, questions, quick fire questions. Again, I've talked about who started this. This is mostly around Starbucks. Blockbuster made this popular around in 1996. The second then is, okay, how do you avoid scams with these things? That's true. Good point. Good question. Here's the point. So if a card is open, so this card is a gift card that I got. Actually, my wife got this and she hasn't spent it. Exactly. Here's the point I'm talking about this. But here's the point, a lot of people, so 43% of people get these things and haven't spent it yet. So this is free money that's currently going to iTunes. So iTunes are getting this money, and this is one of millions that they get. So this is currently in the bank somewhere, and they're earning returns on this instead of the people who gifted this out. So obviously, I forced of us that we go spend this tomorrow. But here's the point: when it's open here, if you see any mark of opening here, then you know it's been open already. And again, these guys don't care because it's a code to them. So if you went to iTunes, iTunes will tell you Okay, we don't know who redeemed it. It could have been you, it could have been anyone. So that's one thing to be careful about. If there's a mark or tear somewhere, just take it back and get another one. But make sure you don't leave the store with it, because these things are pieces of paper. It's like someone writing a free number on somewhere. Okay. And the other point then is, how do you avoid yourself from getting scammed? So here's the point. That's true. So this is another point where, Amazon or iTunes or any of these Target guys will tell you it's none of their business, but they produce these things. So these things again, it's been a cause of heartache for a lot of people, where they lose money because they buy an iTunes gift card from someone who's claiming to be an IRS officer or a tax officer or somewhere from a reputable bank. So please be careful. We're not going to ask for gift cards. No bank is going to ask you for a gift card. No tax officer or a government officer is going to have to ask you for a gift card. So just forget that. Okay, please. Just take, if someone asks you and calls you from a bank and go, can I have a gift card? No, none of those people ask for a gift card. Why? Because it's just a piece of number. If it's a number, if they're asking you for this, they can also ask you for a bank transfer, and then you can transfer it across. So please, please be careful about that. How about family and friends? So I've seen a lot of people that claim to be friends. There's this romantic scam that's going ahead as well, where someone who's romantic will come around and tell you they're stranded. So they try and hook you and claim to be your lover. And then for some reason, they scam you in the future, right? And then they claim that they're stranded somewhere. If you can send them a gift card, same thing. No, send a bank transfer, a Western Union, or a gift ring, okay, or a MasterCard or Visa. Here's the point, because these people can trace it. This, I said this at the start, this is closed loop. So it's within Amazon, and Amazon don't take responsibility for this. So if you spend money on this closed loop system within Amazon, Amazon will tell you, sorry, we don't know. If you spend 5,000 to Amazon, Amazon will tell you, sorry, we don't know who spent it, even though it's a scammer. Okay. On the other hand, if you spend 5,000 with us, we know, we'll tell you, hey, you went to this bank and this bank and this bank, we'll try and recall it. Same thing with your bank as well. If your bank went ahead and if, for some reason someone tried to scam you, you can always reclaim those funds from your bank. I say this because I'm angry, okay? So guys, please, please be careful with scammers, people trying to deceive you online. With these gift cards, they're very, very dangerous. Please, please, please. We're getting to a holiday season. It's a birthday season. If you love someone, please give them gifts, not these gift cards. Or just buy a ring, oruka.com. Well, thank you guys and have a nice evening. Again, enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll catch you on the next one. I have to get back to work to my customers now. Take care. Bye.